takes for sure. There's no turning back anymore. Can you see it's all a game? Life goes on all the same. If at first you don't succeed, all you've got is all you need. If you believe, then stake your claim.
Hey, Rise and Thrivers. Welcome. It is a brand new month, starting the first Monday of June. It is June 1st, 2026. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our coast. And welcome to Rise and Thrive Together. So just in case you need a reminder, halfway through the year and 3 years into our show, we are Rise and Thrive Together. We are a vibrant community committed to educating and empowering and equipping you to have the results that you want through real talk by taking real actions. And so here we are right now, starting a brand new month, brand new episode. And just to give you guys a little bit of something, it is 5 Mondays of this amazing month of June. And I'm just going to kind of give you the reminders because Raquel's been doing that. And I'll just remind you this also starts our brand new way of taking care of ourselves. The way that we have chosen, Raquel and I have chosen, as you've been here, we've been talking about mental health and we've been just talking about ways to really it's 6 months in to this year. We've made some choices. We're standing by them. We are asking what we need. And so we talked to each other and we felt what was best for us through clear communication and conversation that we're going to use the summer as an opportunity to connect with you guys live the first Monday of each month. So today and then July and then August, and use the rest of those Mondays as opportunities to give you the best of ways that will kind of maybe refresh your memory, or maybe if you're new to Rise and Thrive Together, get into who we really are and about around that education, empowering and equipping you. And then every once in a while, we might even have a guest and they might even be here and to kind of expand that conversation. But I do want to remind you of one other thing. We do have a private Facebook group. It is called Rise and Thrive Together Community. There are 90 amazing people in that group. And throughout the 3 years, we've had so much fun. We've done challenges, we've had games, we've done masterminds, we've done workshops. And a lot of times we are using that as a place to not just share the show, but for you guys to share what's going on in your life, use your voices, connect from this show. And we're going to be using that a lot this summer. So it's an opportunity to kind of reconnect in there as a more intimate private time. Raquel might jump on, I might jump on, whatever that may be. But this is your community. It's not just mine and Raquel's community. And we're going to be in there. And I do want to say that I don't even think Raquel knows, but one of our long-standing Rise and Thrive Tribe people, Sharon Glidden, has been on this journey from the beginning. She's been one of our first clients. She was in our masterminds. Excuse me. And she shared her journey. And she just got her diagnosis of cancer-free.
Amen. Congratulations, Sharon.
Yeah, so there she is. Put it in our community. She thanked us and everyone to get her where she is. Woohoo! So I had to share that.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So what's up, sis? Welcome.
Well, I have my sexy voice on tonight. Some would say it's a scary voice. I'm ignoring those folks and sticking with this is my sexy voice. I have no idea what happened. On Saturday, I'm learning to play golf. And so Saturday, the group, the learners went to the LPGA here in New Jersey. It was further south than I am. It was near Atlantic City. And it was such an incredible experience. just watching and hearing how the audience talked about women golfers and when they are hitting the ball, just the grace, elegance, and how they make it so easy and it just flows compared to male golfers who hit with power. Not that they're not elegant and graceful, but they're not. They hit with power, and the women are very elegant and graceful and can knock the ball just as far. So it was absolutely a great experience. But I think being around all that grass might have been a little much for me. Oh, and you guys might find this funny. At one point, somebody had to tell me, shh, because I was talking, but I was talking as the woman was about to drive her ball, and I didn't know the rules of this stuff, and someone's like, "Shh." I'm like, "Oh, my bad." Which you're still loud when you whisper loud, but an incredible experience. So I've been like this all weekend, all Monday. Hopefully tomorrow would be better. I was supposed to start my tennis lessons tonight, this evening, and I didn't go because I thought it best with some prodding from you know who to stay home and others. And it makes it sense because you don't want to be around too many people sounding like this. But I did do my swim lesson today. So that was exciting. So I've got a lot of exciting stuff going on. Super stoked about that. Absolutely love the instructor. She's real. She's just like in the water with you. So it was incredible. But I could go on and on and on and on, but I'll stop
I
here.
love it. It goes so great. It goes so great with our conversation because really, we have been supporting the community from the beginning of like, it's 2026. What do you want? What are some of the goals that you have? What are some of the things? And for everybody who knows Raquel and I, we just keep on expanding and growing. And so we are up to episode 161,
Wow.
Standing in Your Yes. And I have another
Mm.
surprise for you because Raquel and I, based on last month's conversation about clear communication, requests and asks, we have made a choice a long time ago. What she's great at, what she enjoys, things that it's not, that would take me longer, and the things that I really enjoy. She got into Canva. She is really the beauty around our Rise and Thrive Together logo and all the great, beautiful, social media that we get to put up, that I get to put up. And what I love to do, and I have different time for, is to create that content around that. So it's a great partnership. And we were just
Mm.
talking about that today. But Raquel was underneath the weather, and I wasn't going to put that request on her, right? She already had shared, and she needed rest. So here's the thing that I love. AI is incredible when you use it in a way that supports what's happening. Like, we're not fake. And so, Raquel, I had the pleasure
What
of
you do? What you do?
I had the pleasure of having AI and I have a conversation, and took last month's beautiful, lovely Canva, and I asked it to kind of, recreate that for this month's topic,
Hmm.
standing in your yes. But I asked them not to do the pictures because, like, sometimes AI changes the pictures that we did.
Yeah.
And I'm going to surprise Raquel with all of you tonight with this is up leveling, rising and thriving together, changing my I can't to I can,
Mm.
standing in the yes for what we have chosen for each other to make sure that this show provides what it needs. So ready? Drum roll. Boom. Rise and thrive
Mm.
together. Real talk, real action, real results. Our June topic is
Wow.
stand in your yes. Your truth is your filter. Join us on Mondays at 8 p.m. It put in beyond the ask from your own decisions to kind of bridge it through. My name, your name, all of your stuff that you've created. And it just chose different pictures. And so it had a cup of coffee for me that says I choose me. And based on what it knows about you, because we share, it says my truth, my voice, my power.
I love it. And I love the teacup. I say teacup, y'all say
Yep.
coffee cup.
Yeah.
I'm
But,
a tea
I
drinker.
just thought it
Love
was,
it.
and I really just, want to say, as everybody who's watching, this is standing in my yes
Hmm.
and standing in my truth, and really like honing in on what matters. And so I could have went another way, right? I could have
Yes.
been like, wah, and crying and annoying. But really, this show has provided, and being with you all for 3 years, this show is about us just being straight, the real talk. Like, we don't just, talk and then like don't do anything.
Hmm.
Every single bit of the past 3 years for 161 weeks has held me accountable for what I want to expand and rise and grow into things that I got to tell you. Raquel talks me off, you know, off behind what we call the scenes, and many of you are very loyal to us and know us well together and separately. That I'm tired of the conversation. I can't. I this. I that. So I choose, right? That Canva is a platform that I know is really well. I just haven't taken the time to learn it. And it is something of a forte of mine that, like I've said, I can't for so long.
Mm.
And like you, learning tennis, learning golf, and all these things, it just hasn't been my priority. And it is something at this moment in time that I don't want to make my priority because I have other things. But what is beautiful is having our guests who are really great at AI, me having an amazing community that trains me in AI, having a husband who helps me with the prompts, and having it be with integrity. It was so much fun. It was super fun to like create it and make sure it really represents who we are, and really like Raquel did the work, guys. AI just took the work and had me not have to work it. So I stood in our yes. I stood for you guys. I'm super excited about that, and I love surprising her. Right? So. And one of the things through half of the Diana's going nice, nice. Your favorite beverage and my stand, right? Like it's our stand of our voice, our truth, right? All of that. Thanks, Diane. So yeah, it was super fun, super exciting. Took me literally less than 5 minutes,
Hmm.
just because I wanted a couple of things a certain way, and and I knew exactly I pay for this particular one, and it's worth it, and it's so freeing. It's so freeing. It's so exciting, so exciting, and like I get graphic artists, but you already use the graphic art. You use the graphic art. This just helped me be able to replicate what the work she's done, the real person who did the work, and then just had something quick, done that way.
So
So,
you were standing in your yes and your commitment to
mhm,
rise and thrive together.
yeah, it's my truth, right? It's our truth. And
I like it.
it's a together, right? It's a together and a real honest conversation, because we had some great conversations today before we got on here. And so, yeah, I'm like really excited. And then Genevieve is on here going, "Atta girl, conquer that I can't." She's another person who holds me accountable. So I'm really
It's so
looking up those
awesome.
words, I'm like reminding myself of those words that we talk about that create our reality,
Hmm.
you know?
Absolutely. Now we're moving from the ask and deciding and hopefully by now we've covered we meaning all of us, we've reached a point where we're just going to bite the bullet and go ask for what it is that we want or need, and it's not going to matter the person that we have to ask, because
Mm,
sometimes that can also be intimidating, like who is it that we have to ask and what's the question. But we've gotten past all of those, what's the word I'm looking for, all of those imaginary stoppers that get in our way. So it's not about the person, it's not about the question, it's about you need to know. You need to know because you want information or whatever it is. So hopefully we are past that. And sometimes there may be that little bit of hesitancy still there, but by now you guys are strong enough and we're all strong enough to talk our way past that because that's what it's going to take. In the past couple of days, I've been learning, watching a training that I could not attend at the time they had it, but it's a training on AI. And anybody that knows me, I'll tell you, hey, I am not tech savvy, but I do okay. Let me just say, I do okay. And I'm going to be doing a whole lot better because I plan on creating a team to help me. And the team is going to be my AI agents. That's the word that's being used. And like Reg mentioned earlier, it's a prompts. And what does that mean? And what does that look like to get exactly what I want? And it's going to take a couple of tries, but I'm super stoked to begin building my company. My consulting business is what I'm doing. So we're talking about, what are we talking about?
Well, this is this
Yes.
stay where you are. That yes, because you said as you're taking this, you stood for right your AI commitment. You're standing in that yes as you're creating and really building your consulting company. And Susan was just saying like, yeah, it is fun, right? Like you had fun like taking this course. I had fun doing this because our commitment wins over the whatever that you said disempowering conversation, limiting belief, whatever the word you use. I use limiting belief. Commitment wins over my I can'ts
Mm,
when I let them in, right? Commitment for you is like there's nothing in the way. You're just like ready for your consulting company, ready to grow into that, right? And Susan is going on saying that, creating clear prompts helps us get clear on what we want for our business and our lives. Be clear, right? That was a big thing that Raquel has mentioned over and over and over again. If we're not clear, we don't have clarity with ourselves, what we want, how are we going to go out there and ask for anything because we don't even know what it is. So I
I
love
love
that.
that, Susan. Yeah, that's so incredible because sometimes we think we have an idea, but when you are working with AI and you're looking to build a team of virtual VAs, and literally virtual assistants, you have to be, clarity is so key. You have to be so clear because if you're not clear, then guess what? Whatever system you're using is not going to provide you with the clear information that you are hoping to get. So it's a great thing and it's always a learning experience. So thank you for that, Susan. I absolutely love that. That you have to be clear with your prompts. And sometimes I'm not as clear. And then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, let me tighten that up and tell you that didn't work. Here's what I'd like.
Yep.
So I
And it's
absolutely
because
do
you're
love it.
getting clear as you're speaking it out loud. It's like you and I
Hmm.
worked today, right? We worked together on looking at the rest of the year. And it was like back and forth, the conversation. It's like we had to be clear. And every time we posted something in there to support us, it was like, no, we don't like that. So we talked it back and forth. What does this mean to you? What does this mean to you? Oh, I like this. Oh, I like that. Oh, great. Boom. Then it got tighter and tighter. And Susan sharing that we both have a coach together. And she was saying that, after her meeting, with her coach, she made her a word bubble. Like she's like took these words and made this bubble about,
Mm,
who she is, what her business is about. And she said finally it occurred to her to ask chat GPT for her own stuff, right? Like, like
mm.
right. So it was like whatever their conversation was, I guess they were using the AI stuff to make this bubble, right? And then she's like, wait a minute, I can ask ChatGPT about my own stuff. So Susan has a business about grief, working with people.
Hmm.
She's a grief educator. So she's like, I'm now playing with one for my grief work. And she's like, amazing, you know? So, I mean, listen, we didn't plan for tonight to like talk about AI, but the bottom line is there's no way we can get away with it. Like kind of it's out there. And we're talking about how that is a tool, just like conversation is a tool to get what you want, to stand in your yeses that you want in your life. And we can go into all the other stuff about it, but that's not what we're about. We're like standing in the empowering parts of that, how that helps. And we are still the ones driving the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I
Absolutely.
personally, and neither is Susan or you, going, hey, and then being like, da 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 da, or like blindly being like, okay. We don't just like be like, hey. Many people do. That's a different conversation. Nothing that's you, but we're trying to share with you. You got to be clear with you. And you can have that if you don't have another partner at that moment. You have something else that kind of has all of this information. And the only way it's going to get to your voice is when it's taking millions of information to make it
Right.
finally to what you say. And sometimes it's a bigger context. So I love it. It's standing
Yeah.
in that yes for you, what you want to express, what you want to do, what you want to create, however that is. And then that's your truth. That's yours. You get to own it. So I love it. This is fun. Good stuff.
Awesome. Now I want to get to standing in your truth and
Ooh, standing in your
or
truth.
standing in your yes, excuse me,
That's right.
is what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do that? What does that look like when you stand in your yes? So let me ask a question. I like questions.
Yeah.
Gives me information. How many times have you said yes to something and then spent like the next couple of days hoping the person cancels? So you say yes to going or doing something, and you spend the next couple of days hoping that the person cancels.
Oh yeah. I
So
mean,
it's weird, isn't it? Because you say
yep.
yes with your mouth, but your everything from the neck down is like, gosh darn it, your mouth is too big. Why did you say that? Like, what? How many of us have done that? Well, I know I've done it a couple of times. I've definitely done that a couple of times. Said yes and really didn't want to, but did it because, and I can fill in the blank with anything I want because this person's my friend, they needed me, all that stuff. But there's sometimes I just really want to be like, no, and not explain it because no is a full sentence. I don't want to feel I have to explain it away.
Yep.
Anybody else feel like that, or am I on this island alone?
No, I think they do. I'm looking at seeing if up. Hold on, because I just can't catch up with chats that comes in. Uh, Susan's like, moi. Genevieve is like, stand tall and be real with purpose. And Lori just jumped on. So, hey, Lori, you'll catch up soon. So, yeah, Genevieve's getting it. Susan's getting it. I'm getting it. You're getting it. Susan's going, you got lots of company, Raquel. You got lots
Th-
of company.
Thank you. I've got company on the island. But what happens with that gap? So the gap between the yes you gave and the yes you actually meant is what we're talking about today. It's standing in your yes. So I find it interesting that the yes that I gave and the yes that I actually meant isn't really a yes. It's a yes, I want to support you, but maybe next week. There's a gap. And why is there that gap? Because if we're standing in our yes, how do I gear myself up? What I really want to know is, how do I gear myself up for saying, I said yes, I really don't want to. How do I gear myself up now to stand in my yes? What does that look like?
Well, we've been talking about this for the past couple of months, which is, it's kind of a loaded kind of concept here because I wish we can like break it down real simple, but we're kind of bringing it all together. You know, that whole yes, when we are like, didn't really mean to say it, like it just came out. And then all of a sudden you're like, um, you got to start looking at like, what was that about? You know, you don't want to hurt people's feelings. You were people pleasing. Were you really like paying attention, you know, and you're like kind of, your mind's going quicker and when the mouth comes out, you know, and if you're standing in that yes can turn into, not that you're like not a yes for the person and whatever they asked you to do or be a part of, but then it's like, you know, owning, like back to what we were saying, owning that, like owning your truth. So manning the yes in your truth. And that's the part that can, you know, be like, oh, I wonder what they're going to think if I go, hey, Reg, I know I said yes. And like, I you know, that's not really what I meant. You know, it's not a yes at this moment in time. And like, no more over explaining. Remember, we were getting into that last time. It's like, no, because that leaves an opportunity for me, right? So you've said simple, clear. I feel, and you guys can have, you know, please give me a feedback. But if, you know, we're going to play the game of Raquel said yes to me, and if she came back to me and said, Reg, I know I said yes to you to X, Y, and Z, and I really didn't mean yes to this. Like, it doesn't work for me at this time. And that's it. She doesn't have to explain or anything, because that's something that, like, she said her truth. Then she's going to be willing to like be there to deal with whatever that impact is. And I think that's very clear. And then I've got to work through, you know, my feelings and emotions. Like, could I be a little hurt? Could I be disappointed? You know, whatever. Was I counting on her? But like, I can go through that and we'll deal with it like two adults. But it, like, if she says it that clear and that simple, it gives me time to then ask questions back, right? Like, hey, what happened? Whatever. I don't know. You know, we can go on 1,000 different directions. And so you're still standing for whatever it is for me. It's, you're just owning, you know, that didn't work out at that time, right? And whatever that can be done between two people that can make it work.
So let me ask this. Do
Yeah.
you think when we say standing in your yes, or people say standing in your
Yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
is that about being in alignment?
Yeah.
Meaning when what you say out loud also matches what you really want or what you really believe or how you're really feeling. Is that what standing in your yes means?
I
It's about
do. I love
alignment.
that. Like when you're, I mean, we're talking like a yes, not like a yes hidden behind like, oh no, I didn't mean to say
No,
yes.
we
We're
talking
talking
about a
like,
straight
yeah,
yes. Yeah.
I definitely feel like when it's that yes for me, like what happened today or anything, you know, it is like me standing in my truth, right? My vision. That's, I didn't think how we started January. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's my vision? You know, what do I stand for? That no matter
Right.
what circumstances I'm dealing with, I can find peace. I can have some power. I can find some freedom and some ease in it. You know, so that's my vision. That's my stand. That's my truth. It's it gives me peace of mind, and it's my non-negotiable,
Mm.
right? So it's my
Mm.
non-negotiable, and it's shifting from like, how do I want to say this? It's shifting out there, sis. It's like shifting from looking outward for your permission
Mm-hmm.
and really looking inward for my own alignment. Now, that sounds pretty. Nobody says this is easy,
Mm-hmm.
but this is what we're talking about.
Mm.
Ooh,
Mm.
I'm on a
Mm.
roll
Mm.
today.
So a yes, saying yes and being in alignment, um, a yes is something that you can stand in and you'd give again, even if nobody was looking at you.
Say that again.
Even if it wasn't popular to say yes, you're going to
Mm,
stand in it. You're going to say it when no one's watching. You're going to say it even if it's not popular,
yes.
whatever yes is. And you're going to say yes even if it costs you something,
Yeah. Oh my
as
God.
long as you're in alignment.
It, you know, I love this. This is so great because I love the not popular, and
Mm-hmm.
even when it costs you something. I'm getting chills. Oof, I'm getting chills about this because this is, I'm, you know, hey guys, you're quiet right now, so we need your voices to be heard. Um, just just say, are you tracking? Are you, hey, do you get this? Or share whatever you want to
But
share.
and they may just be listening and taking it in,
Yeah.
but and that's fine. But um when we are in alignment, when our yes is in alignment with everything,
Yeah.
right? Within us, that yes is rooted in purpose
Mm,
or a genuine desire, and it's not rooted in fear of what's going to happen after I give that yes, or what happens if I say no. Like, we stand in it.
yes.
So yes is rooted in purpose or desire, not in the fear of what happens if I say no. Does that make sense? You're not thinking, because Reg just mentioned it, right? She was like, hey, we can say, Raquel can tell me this, and I can say whatever, but it's not about being afraid of what's going to happen if you say no.
Yeah.
That's not the point of it. The point is, if yes is in alignment with what I'm saying and how I'm feeling and how I'm thinking, then it's rooted in a purpose and a desire, not about the consequence, whatever that is, of saying no.
Yeah. It really is. I love it. That's where the truth comes in, right? For me, when you say that, because, listen, let's be really honest. That's why it's called, like, real talk. Most times, a yes for many of us, I've been there. So I'm going to say, been there and done that. And for maybe some of you, still, like, a yes is like a concept. It has like no
Mm,
filter. It's just like, we don't even realize it because we're like, we don't want to rock the boat, we're people pleasing, like all of that. But when you
mm-hmm,
stand in that yes, that means you've gotten so freaking
mm,
clear on, like you said, your purpose,
yeah.
clear on your truth, like your true self, your true identity. That beautiful masterpiece, that Canva that you were making. And now that truth is the filter for every request, every opportunity, and
Mm,
any distraction that comes your way.
mm,
So
mm,
if a request comes from a family member or a friend or like some type of client and it doesn't align, it just doesn't align, that you were saying, that alignment of my truth, like my real truth, what I'm very clear about,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
on what I'm building, you know, or the piece that I'm trying to protect.
mm,
My filter catches it and it makes a no effortless, because my yes, I'm truly locked into. Now, this is like some deep stuff here, but like, this is what we're talking about. Like, goes to clarity, knowing who you are, what you stand for, your values, your truth. Put in all the words, right? Beliefs, all of that. And I love what you said, because the one thing that really I'm going to speak for many of us is like, when it impacts other people, or I think what you said before, if it upsets someone,
mm,
like all of that, like we take all of that into consideration. And you and I had a really good talk about that today. You're on some big committees, big boards, up to big things. I'm on some big stuff happening, and the same thing. And sometimes our yeses or our nos, which is part of our stand, right? For our yeses, is because what we're up to, it doesn't align. And, it doesn't always seem like an easy conversation, but it really can, the more practice you have at it. But really, the practice is with yourself. And I think you and I are a great example of that, because we've been together for 3 years, for 161 episodes. Um, and we've, gone through many, many different spaces. I will speak my truth, and I can take whatever Raquel wants to say back. It has been a quite effortless 3 years with you. Have we had
mm.
moments? Like, have we had moments?
Agree.
Right? Like, moments, and I'm talking like moments. guys, when we say moments, it's like you feel it for like a minute, you feel it for two, you take a breath. I hear my like attitude right now. You're like, what? And then it's like you catch it because you feel that person stand for the yes of the commitment of what we're up to, and everything shifts.
Mm-hmm.
That's been from my experience, and I want to say that out loud as we go into the summer. I, relationships. We'll talk about relationships. You've been in tons. We've got tons of them. It is pretty much an effortless. Now we don't live together, or we don't spend 24/7 together, but still, this is a commitment. It's a different,
Yeah.
and so I believe in that peace, ease, freedom, effortless. So, but we also are committed, and we are, what is it? We practice. It's 161 weeks of practice, not just Mondays. We don't just come on. There has been hours. Now you and I, what? I think our call was an hour and 10 minutes to finish the rest of
Mm.
the year. Remember, like we
Yeah.
used to have 3 times a week, 2 hours.
Yeah. 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 So
So,
I want
yeah.
to throw this out there about how many yeses, because remember I asked how many of us say yes even when we don't want to, and we probably do it because we don't want to hurt the person's feelings and we want to keep the peace. What I'm hearing then is that there are two yeses. There's the yes where we actually mean it and we're standing, and that's the real one because everything is in alignment. And then there's the yes that we say when we just want to keep the peace and we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We don't want any awkward moments. We don't want any of that stuff. How does someone know when it's the real yes versus the
Mm.
one just to keep the peace?
Okay, so I love
Because on
that.
the outside, don't they both look the same if you say yes?
So Gaston, who's been a guest of ours, came in with this. Like, as I'm looking, there's so much, Raquel. They're coming in so fast. So thank you, everybody. Gaston's like, hey, ladies, I love you all.
Hey, Gaston.
And he says, I find myself saying yes because I love to help everyone, and I do not want to disappoint
Mm,
because I feel flattered to be asked to attend or assist in their purpose. And then he goes, I hope that makes sense. And it does, Gaston. It does, right? Your
it
feel,
does.
right? I love it. Like nothing right, nothing wrong. This is your truth, right? This is your expression. And I'm curious, like Raquel's saying, because I hear in there, I don't want to disappoint. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's a self part of us, right? I feel flattered,
Yes.
right? I feel flattered because really your overall purpose is you want to really attend or assist their purpose, right? That's where I think, Raquel, you're saying the two sides, because I see two sides. Like one, I'm like, yeah, I get it. That's awesome. And then there's that other piece where there's like, I don't
Mm,
want to disappoint. That's what I'm throwing in there. Like on there's the not disappointing. And then there's like, are you giving up? Because I don't know if you know, we were talking about, mental health. Is there something you're giving up? Right down the line, there could be a resentment or something else. If you keep on doing that, like you keep on of service, I'm of service, I'm of service. I love that. Like I love it, you know. And there's that I don't want to disappoint, but there's overcommitment. There's all of those things that can make an impact, sooner or later. Hope I make sense on that one. So I don't know, sis. You're always You're a little bit more articulate in a way, but that's what, kind of tying in what you were saying.
yeah, it does. So, and it goes back to how do people know? Because they're taking you at your word, they're taking you at face value that when you say, yes, I want to be there, that you really want to be there. Now, do we gear ourselves up to match that? Yes, even though we're feeling like, I don't really want to, but I will. I'll do it. I'll go. I'll whatever. And if the person doesn't pick up on that, does it even matter? Which yes I give them. I give them a yes or the yes, I want to be there. I really want to be there to support. And you're
Lori's
really
great.
doing like this.
Lori's jumping in, right? Hey, Lori, good to see you. She goes, because she's been here with us a lot. And she's like, when you got a tone, they will know. Like there's a way. Body language is great. Thanks, Lori. Right? Like
Mhm.
knowing your own body language and then other people reading other people's body language. And I don't know how many of us really take the time if we're in front of people, right? It's kind of hard over the phone. That's more of a listening. And that's where you can hone in on your listening. Like Raquel and I can listen when we speak and hear when there's the tone switches just like that. And it's like, oh, hit a nerve. Like, let's take a breath, right? We know that. And I love that, Lori. So the tone is something. And she was saying that she used to find herself saying yes to everyone about everything, right? Everything about everything. Then, her life changed. She had a very huge situation happen to her. She shared about that, right? Everything about her daughter and her ex-husband. And now how she knows is because she's gotten clear with herself. She does not feel that she needs to say yes all the time anymore, right? Because she discovered for herself. Circumstances came in to kind of give her a quick awakening. Not how we all want it to happen, but it did. And now she's seeing the blessings and the gifts. Now she's saying, I discovered I can say no. I found out I can say no. And that people are not disappointed. They would be more disappointed if I said yes and I didn't mean it. So she's learning for herself, that she doesn't have to say yes to everyone. She's clear about her no's. And like the people in her life are more like, oh man, they're starting to see this new side of her. They saw already she was saying yes all the time, probably not able to follow through, disappointing them. She's shifted in many ways, using her voice more, being very clear, being more direct, and she knows herself well. So now she's like, nope, or yes. And then she follows through on that. And then people are not going to be disappointed. They know she's a stand for her yes, and she only says yes to things she can commit to. I mean, we're not talking outside circumstances like you're sick all of a sudden that morning, but, whatever. Just like your tennis person today, things happen. But I love that. How she's saying it is she's learning for herself. She's discovering inside of herself. And that I think takes time, right? And she's saying tone. And Diane is saying that, she's training herself. I'm picking up very specific words. She's training herself more, especially when she has to go back when she said yes and then really it's a no. So she's training herself to say something to the lines of, I have to reschedule or move things around. So she's even looking, she said yes, now she can't. And she's training herself to be direct, honest, not make up some weird thing. People can, like Lori said, can tell, they can smell a lie. They can smell a lie. And just be honest. Say, I need to reschedule. I need to move things around. Like what I said. But I think the biggest thing is people need to learn it for themselves, sis. You know what I mean? They have to if they're not clear about themselves and they don't get it for themselves, how are they really going to know what their yes is? Is it a real yes or is it a yes but?
Right.
Yeah.
So here's one thing, one tool, something practical that we can all practice. 24-hour yes audit is what it's called. And at the end of each day, you look back at the commitments you made and ask yourself, would I say yes to that again? It's not about whether you regret it. You're like, oh, I had things and I didn't feel. It's just whether it was a real yes. Was everything in alignment? Your yes came out, your body was in alignment with the yes. And if it wasn't, when you do your reflection at the end of the day, if it wasn't, how at the end of the show we always talk about stay curious. That's what you have to do. You got to get curious about what's driving it. What's driving you to say yes when you really don't mean yes? Is it out of fear, out of commitment, out of obligation? Or maybe it's something else. But that's one tool that we can start to use is the 24 audit. And not really 24 hours, who's awake for that? But every day, just check in with yourself.
But that's cool because what you just got me present to is like, why do we say yes so quickly? I have literally, if anybody calls me on my phone, I have a message, right? And my message is like, hey, you've reached Regina. I'm not available at this time. Leave your name, number, whatever, something like that. I say something like, tell me something you love about your life. And I will get back to you within the next 24 to 48 hours. I feel like, curious for anybody who's listening, everybody who's on here is like rocking it. And you too, sis, like we feel like we need to say yes right away or an answer right away. Like someone asks you a question, especially if it's a big thing about an ask, right? You know, got a sponsorship. So sponsorship ties value with money. And like, like why do we have to answer right away? We get a wedding invitation. I mean, I can do this a million things, a date, whatever that is. There's something in our culture that we have been kind of wired to like right away. And I'm with a lot of other cultures through Zumba, and it just downloaded. Like I remember having, they're like, we don't do that. We don't answer right away. We're like people in our culture when it's big questions and yes and no's, unless your boss is like, can you do whatever? And then you gotta be honest because they're asking you. But most of the other stuff is you might say, I need a day, right? Hey, I can't. So I think that's an interesting thing too. I like this 24-hour audit because it's making me slow down to think about when somebody asks me something to say, can I get back to you tomorrow about this? And if they need an answer right then and there, then I got to quickly do that audit, like you're saying, not in 24 hours. Like, is this aligned? How's my body feel about it? How's my heart feel about it? And then I can be honest to say, listen, I can't answer that in 24 hours. So if you need an answer right now, it's a no. But feel free to call me tomorrow if something shifts and, something didn't come through to you for somebody else. Because then that might be, right? That's, like, I feel like it's like so black and white and it's not. I think
but the 24 audit is for us to look back at our day and see the commitments that we made and whether or not if we would say yes to that commitment again. So it's us checking in. Yeah, it's us checking in. And we didn't say the yes because we regret it. It's a commitment. We were afraid somebody's feelings would be hurt. It's none of that stuff. It's just, were we in full alignment? And what was driving, if we didn't do it because we genuinely wanted to, then for us to think about what's driving that. Is it fear? Is it obligation? Is it, hey, I just want to help everybody and we all can't help everybody, right? Yeah. So what's driving it? And we really need to take stock of that. And I used to be one of those, yes. I mean, it's gotten less over time where I would say, yes, I'll attend. And now it's like, I have to check my calendar.
Right.
I really do. I may want to say yes, but I don't want to say yes and knowing that I really want to do it. And then I get home and check my calendar because I'm old school. I have a planner. No, I do not put my day in my phone because my phone is always on silent. So I'm not going to turn it on so that it beeps. And if I'm somewhere that it shouldn't, and then I'm just not doing it. But I want to do this thing and I want to say yes, but I always make sure, hey, I got to check the calendar because then I don't want to go back and say, I'm sorry, but I have to rescind my yes. If you can rescind a yes.
And that's what we're talking about. So it's the two prong, right? You get a question and you want to like look at that. And then the other one, which I really love too, is all the yeses. We're talking to everybody here because we're in that 6 month, 2026. Now we're finishing, we're going into second half, right? Second half of the year. Let's start to like kind of audit. Let's do this like 6 month audit. Join our Rise and Thrive Together Facebook page if you haven't, right? Community. Start auditing. Kind of looking at like go back through the year of these yeses, right? The yeses so far. I love this. It might be longer than a 24-hour yes, or feel free to look at the past 24 hours of yeses you've said yes to and audit those. Were they really aligned? Are they really aligned? Do they fit with who you are, your truth, all of that. And then,
Right.
really just be honest with yourself. If it's aligned and it's a yes, because it is,
Hmm.
then the next time that person, that community, whatever that is, will most likely be a high probability of a yes. But if like some of them aren't, then what is that about, right? Was it out of obligation? Was it out of fear? Like,
Right.
of that. I love this. This is fun. We're going to have a game in June, people. You know, Raquel just got me inspired. She knows I love this stuff.
I
So
like
we
games.
won't be on, next Monday. We are going to put up a really awesome show that, will get you guys empowered. But inside the group, we're going to have that conversation. Let's audit our yeses and just share. Just share throughout the month of June as we're like coming through. Oh, I said yes to this and I realized blah, blah, blah. Or I said yes to this and oh, let's move this forward. Let's have an auditing month. It's the middle of the year. And Ellen has just jumped in and Ellen's like, so true. This is so helpful. We want to please and not disappoint. But she likes this. It's good to think about. I like
Hmm.
it, Ellen. I like good to think about. And one of the things that Raquel and I talk about is thinking's like a part of it. And then we think, and that's nice. And the high probability is it disappears. Like we thought about it and then it disappears. But if we really want to get to like the deep kind of work, it's like if you want to stand in your yeses, your truth, your power, like all of that, having the power to ask, it's kind of good to like really do that work, whatever that is for you. If you write it, if you talk about it, say it out loud. But we're gonna like just I'm asking who would like to join us? Who would at least like to join me inside of the
I,
Facebook community?
I have an ask.
Yeah,
I'm
go.
getting worse and feeling the pain right across here.
Hmm.
And so my ask is, can we wrap up?
Of course we
I
can.
know how that sounds, but it is starting to get to the point where I'm like, I want to be a mouth breather, but I don't want anybody getting any funny ideas. I'm not going to ask you what are you wearing or anything like that.
All right.
Um,
Well, of
but
course.
no, this
Yeah,
was
this is awesome.
absolutely great conversation. See how you ask? I had to because I started to feel it right across my nose bridge, and my eyes are burning. But and it's so great to ask anything, and we're live on air. People see this all over. We have people in different countries who watch our show. And
Yep.
the reality is, guys, I am starting my head. You know how you get that the headache, and yeah, that's starting to kick in, and
Well,
I
it's
want to
good.
be
We said
fully
like
present.
almost an hour. It's almost an hour. So lots to
So
think about.
we remember, like Reg said in the beginning, we will be throwing on from next Monday to the end of June the best of Rise and Thrive Together. So if you have a best episode, let us know. Drop it in our Rise and Thrive Together community, and we'll go through the archives, pull that up, and throw that on. But we'll be on every first Monday of the month, and we are going to be doing some stuff in the summer and having a good time. And we hope that you all will be doing the same thing, enjoying the summer. It's only like 2 weeks long anyway, depending on where you live. But we absolutely love it. We enjoy our time. And thank you for playing full out tonight with us on this yes, and for being genuine and authentic and saying, yeah, there are times that I say yes when I really don't, excuse me, when I really don't want to. Okay. So until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep choosing you. Take care.